As we enter 2012, a lot was done on Capitol Hill in 2011. A lot was left undone. We've got Representative Jeff Landry, Louisiana Congressional District 3, here to talk about it. And Jeff, you guys had a lot go on Capitol Hill in this past year, and still a lot to do. You guys start the new session on Tuesday. What's the top priority for you?
Well, certainly we did. We had a lot of debates. There was a lot that went on last year. We've got a lot of work that's been left undone. Of course, when we get back on Tuesday, I'm sure we're going to get right into back into the debate that we had that it almost went all the way to Christmas, which is the payroll tax holiday extension. And so I'm sure that that's going to be a top priority for Congress. We have a top priority in trying to push an amendment to the National Defense Authorization Bill that we passed in December, and to ensure that Americans are not held indefinitely by their government. There's a provision in the NDAA that where the language is a little vague, and so we're hoping to clarify that. It's something that we took up during a debate, and we've got good bipartisan support on it. So those are two things that we're going to dive right into when we get back. And
speaking of defense, we talked before the interview and talking about defense cuts could affect veterans. Is that something that you're pushing against?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, one of the tragedies of the increase of the debt ceiling, of which I refused to vote for, and then the creation of the super committee, which did nothing, was that if the committee failed, which it did, then the Department of Defense would recognize over $500 billion worth of cuts across the Department of Defense. And of course, those cuts are going to fall on the shoulders of our veterans, unfortunately. And as a veteran, I'm extremely concerned about that. It was, part of the reason that I voted not to raise the debt ceiling and not to support the super committee. I felt that Congress as a whole should have a say in where the cuts and the spendings occur in Washington.
Now, and closer to home, this is an election year for you as well, and we've had some redistricting here in Louisiana. So you and Charles Boustany, will be running against each other come 2012 in the elections.
Well, what has happened in redistricting, the 3rd Congressional District, which I currently represented, has actually has shifted over towards the west. And of course, the district that Charles represents is going away. And so that's something that we're going to have to see play out. And we'll see. I've consistently said that if I believe that there's no one on the ballot who is going to fight for South Louisiana and cut spending and to rein in the federal government, then certainly they would see me on the ballot. But that's something that we're going to continue to look at and talk to people around this area.
And nationally, of course, it's also an election year, and you're a Republican. Your party primaries have been looks like Romney's the front runner. Do you have a pick that you'd like somebody to represent as our Republican presidential candidate?
No, the nice thing about being from Louisiana is the fact that our primary is a little later than everyone else's, so I continue to just monitor it. I mean, it's a process, and certainly we'll just continue to watch the candidates as they unveil their platform. We have South Carolina coming up and Florida, going to be two interesting primaries, and so I think by the time it gets to Louisiana, the field will probably be a lot more narrow.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Congressman Landry, for coming in today, and we appreciate you being here.
Thank you.